What? AFC North fans, this is for y'all. If you are a fan of any of the following teams, Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, and Browns, this is for you guys. Folks, I'm going to do a full breakdown of every AFC North team's free agency moves. Stick tuned, stay tight, because some people are going to get bad grades, some people get good grades, and well, let me just say, there might even be a Super Bowl contender in this division. You guys stay tuned, because this is one you don't want to miss.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movement.
But the AFC North is actually one of my favorite divisions in the National Football League. I mean, you have the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. Great year they had. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are on the decline lately. But let's kick it off with Mr. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the guy needs more targets. It definitely seems that he's constantly taking and throwing to his tight ends. Them taking and picking up, obviously they got Josh Oliver, it's okay pickup, I guess, mid-range tight end. But Sammy Watkins, 1 year, $6 million deal. I like that. That to me is the highlight, because, you know, you got Hollywood Brown and stuff like that, and he's dope. But he had a lot of drop passes and stuff too, man. So I definitely want to take and see them have a commitment to, you know, taking spread in the field, you know what I mean? Because he is a very good pocket quarterback. I know some people are like, blasphemy, he's a running quarterback. Yes, of course he is. In my opinion, he's better than Vic. I'll just say he's better than Vic. The dude is phenomenal. He's faster than Vic, better arm than any other mobile quarterback. But I want to see him have a long career, because there's a stigma that, you know, we're coming up on a contract year for Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, is his career going to end soon within 2 years? I mean, like, these guys usually get injured and banged up, and the guy has so much freaking heart. You see the relationship he has with his mother and stuff like that, man. I'm so huge on Lamar Jackson, man. But overall, I mean, it's okay. I'm just going to be honest. I like that. Hey, you know, some of the guys that they lost, they replaced. They got Tyus Bauer, they got Pernell McPhee. They got, you know, 4 D linemen. They got Justin Ellis and also Derek Wolfe. Derek Wolfe's an absolute dog out there on the field. Then of course they got Kevin Zeitler. They lost 1 O lineman to the Miami Dolphins, but overall this is okay. It's just okay. I'm gonna give them a solid C. You know, I like the Ravens. I want them to do well. I want to see Lamar Jackson out there balling on folks. But again, I would like to see a little more depth signings for the O-line, because I want to see him get knocked down, because remember, he still got injured, and I would like to see at least maybe 1 or 2 big name receivers out there for him. What you guys think on the Ravens?
Well, first off, don't you ever disrespect Mike Vick like that again. How dare one. Nah, I'm kidding. I do like Lamar, but like you said, we're going in year 4 now?
Yeah.
I need to see more. I see the talent. I see the sizzle, the electricity. Mm-hmm. I need to see you make those plays from the pocket. Granted, like you said, he needs more targets. So, I mean, there was a stigma out there that a lot of receivers weren't trying to come to Baltimore because of that same issue that you mentioned. Like, where are we at with Lamar? Am I going to get the targets that I need? Am I going to get the contract I need to justify? You know what I mean? So yeah. If that stigma exists in the league, there's, where there's smoke, where there's a fire. So we'll see. I did want to see them, supplement him a lot more. So I have to give it a C on my end. But they are a very well-oiled program, a well-oiled machine, well-run program, whatever. But they're good. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to suck this year by any stretch. But like you said before, windows are very finite in the league. And your window that you have is starting to close ever so slightly. So I need to see them kind of jump at the opportunities a bit more. But I think if Sammy Watkins can stay healthy, he'll be a great supplement to Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown.
Yep. Yeah, I agree largely. I like the Kevin Zeitler signing. He's a dog in the inside. He fits that team. He's a very tough player. This is something a lot of people don't think about or realize or maybe even know, but like Lamar Jackson was one of the more accurate deep passers in the league. They just, having Hollywood Brown obviously helps that. But with that being said, I feel like they should have got more weapons, and I give them props for trying. But like you said, Isaac, receivers didn't want to go there for some reason. But I think that's not as much on Lamar as it is on the play calling, because he's shown the last few years that he's actually a relatively, like I said, relatively accurate deep passer. So I think Sammy Watkins staying healthy. Josh Oliver is a big tight end. He's like 6'6" or something. So I think that could be good. He blocks well, solid pass catcher, solid in the red zone. And then the D line signings they had, I think they're all dogs, man. They're traditional Ravens players. Like Derek Wolfe obviously was a Bronco. I loved him on the Broncos, but he fits Baltimore's culture very well. You know what I'm saying? So I think Justin Ellis was a great kind of underrated, very inexpensive signing. So again, I think I'd give him probably like a C plus B. And I'll give him a B because they tried to get him weapons, but receivers didn't want to come. And that's not necessarily Lamar's fault. The team actually made an effort. But you know, again, nothing that moved the needle too much. Not like, oh, they're definitely going to be contenders. They're definitely one in the AFC North or anything like that. But I think they made a few moves that are going to add to that team.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you guys for your feedback. Okay, next team we're gonna take and cover is gonna be the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, you know, they got debatably possibly the best quarterback, and time will tell, you know, best quarterback in the draft. Then he goes out with a nasty injury against a game versus the Washington football team. Okay. Now you're thinking this guy, he is, you know, the O-line wasn't the best, you know, you saw in that play, he got injured by Chase Young. O-line breaks down. He's like, shoot, I'm going to go in there, you know, any given Sunday style and go try to jump in the end zone. And man, he got messed up pretty bad. But I do like, you know, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's just okay what I see here. I see Samaje Perine, Brandon Allen's backup quarterback. You know, I'm seeing they got 2 O linemen, Riley Reef, super dope. Very, very much so know that name. Quentin Spain. Those are only 2 O linemen that I've seen that they've picked up. Other than that, they've beefed up their secondary. They got a total of 4 cornerbacks. I believe they lead the NFL in cornerback signings at this point. Eli Apple, Chidobe Awuzie, Tony Brown, and Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton's a dog. They got him for 4 years, $24 million. Very excited. Definitely seeing him having a very big season over there. And this is a quarterbacks league. So you got to have, I mean, if you have a good defense, you really want to make sure you have good cornerbacks who could take, you know, cut off wide receivers lanes and stuff like that. So I like that they beefed that up. I definitely, with the big injury, and that really concerns me, I would love for them to take and beef up that O lineman. I'm really hoping that with their first pick, they pick up like Penei Sewell or something like that from Oregon. But as of right now, I love the defensive pickups. I'm going to take and hit them with a solid B-, because you see they're obviously making moves, and you know, they've been kind of bad forever. So, yeah, that's why I give them B as in Bravo minus. What you guys got?
I would say I really like the Chidobe Awuzie signing. I think he looked worse in that Cowboy scheme than he actually is. Very physically gifted man, tough corner. Mike Hilton was a good player. Their offense, they just made a few depth signings. I think they should have been a little more aggressive with their offensive line because of the issues they had. They had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL last year. Yep. And then losing Geno Atkins, I thought that was a tough blow for them. So I mean, again, they had a bunch of average signings. They had a couple of signings in the secondary that you talked about that were good. But again, like nothing that I think is going to give Joe Burrow real support. Like he's not going to come in there like, hey, I got this offensive lineman on this side. I know I don't got to worry about it. You know, in addition to the couple players he had, and then that defense losing Geno Atkins, which has been a franchise stalwart, I think is going to have a reverberating impact throughout the season. So I'd give them a C. You know, it's just very average. I think they had a couple good signings, like I said, but nothing that I was like, hey, this team, these pieces are going to put them in potentially playoff contention. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah, because they're losing Geno Atkins. That's huge. They also lost William Jackson III, who's also another stalwart in their secondary. So I think all the defensive secondary signings were good. Like you said, Chidobe Awuzie, having seen him in Dallas 2 times a year, he's a solid corner. And I think he's somebody that could really break out in the right scheme. I'm not sad to see him go to the complete other conference. That's fine with me. But no, I think he'll be really good over there. Eli Apple, that's kind of a wild card to me because I know him as French toast Eli Apple that played for the Giants. So, if he can get his head out of his butt, he'll be solid because he has all the measurables. He's fast. Was he like 6? He's over 6 feet, solid weight, has all the measurables, but just hasn't been able to put it together in a complete way. So, we'll see with him. But like you said, I do like the Hilton signing. That guy is a dog and has been since he stepped foot in the league. So if anything, their defensive secondary has some moxie now. But we'll see how they do in the draft. They definitely need to get Burrow some more weapons and some more protection because he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of heart. He has what you want in a franchise quarterback. But I mean, I remember when we played him and watching that injury live, I was hurt for him because you don't ever want to see that type of stuff happen. You want your team to win, but I don't ever want to see, people go down, especially like that. That was a gruesome injury. So, prayers for him. Hopefully he comes back even stronger and, does his thing.
Absolutely. He's a pride of Ohio, man. Joe Burrow, man. I look at him and, I see Hollywood movies in the future being made about him, man. Guy grew up poor and stuff like that. And, he goes to LSU being a Tiger and then changes his Tiger stripes for Cincinnati Bengals, goes back home, and he obviously won the Heisman and stuff like that. But yeah, man, he got a nasty injury. So I'm really hoping and praying for him. And if Cincinnati is serious about being a contender, Joe Burrow's your guy. But dang it, you better get some freaking O-linemen for him. You bet.
Need it.
I mean, you need an O-line in this league, man. You have to. I mean, that's top priority. I would even debate that's more important than having a dang quarterback. You know what I mean? I mean, you need that. So otherwise, no matter how good your quarterback is, you're going to shoot down his confidence. He's going to get banged up, concussions. Then and before it's pulling an Andrew Luck and hey, I've had enough of the crap. I'm gone. So okay. So next we got the Cleveland Browns. Man. I like what I see here. Definitely, they got JoJo Natson. They got him. He's just a middle of the range guy. Rashard Higgins, that was definitely a really good pickup. I see they definitely got a lot of defensive signings. They got Takaris McKinley. If y'all don't remember when he first got drafted, he's the one who took and cussed on stage. He had like a picture of his mama or something like that when he first got drafted by the Falcons. And he was just okay. He was okay. I remember he went to Michigan and he got a 1-year deal for $4 million. So it's a low risk, high reward kind of thing. I really love that signing though, I will say. And he's a big physical D, and we got to see more on the field. DT Malik Jackson, definitely a good pickup. Linebackers Malcolm Smith and Anthony Walker. Troy Hill, definitely like that pickup. They got John Johnson, a 3-year, $33.75 mil deal, $24 mil guaranteed. Definitely a very good safety. I thought he really held it down for them. And then, of course, they got Cody Parkey, who is one of the worst kickers in the National Football League. He sucks. He played for the Dolphins. I don't know. Dude, shout out to his agent. He must, I don't know it's for fact. I don't want to spread fake news, but he must have the same agent as Kirk Cousins because he just can't get him money and sucks more. I don't know that these guys get this money from.
Like him, Brock Osweiler, they just hang out in the offseason.
Yeah. It's like, they say there's like different privileges. There's like white privilege, rich privilege, pretty good privilege. And then there's Kirk Cousins privilege when you have a really good agent and you suck at football. Sorry, something in there. Anywho, I would have liked to see them get some more wide receivers, to be honest with you, man. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham's looking like he's going to be on his way out. And then, of course, I would like to see some more defensive stars. It looks like they got some middle of the pack guys. But what I saw in that playoff game was lack of scheme. I feel like it's like, if y'all guys remember the episode of Family Guy where he's trying out different religions and he's like, hey, I'm going to be a Jehovah's Witness. And they keep knocking on the door and people keep slamming the door in his face, right? And then finally someone opens up the door. He's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, you open up the door. I don't know what to say. You open up the door. I feel like that's how the Cleveland Browns were in that playoff game. They're like, well, we made it to this point. Well, let's just try our best. I'll call some plays. Let me see. What does my John Madden playbook say? It was terrible. They fell apart. And they were, Kansas City Chiefs was super beatable. again, they were super beatable. So yeah, I mean, this is just okay. It's okay. I'm not like wowed or anything like that. I definitely like the highlight is going to be John Johnson for sure. And I don't know what the heck they're thinking with Cody Parkey because he's trash. Overall, I'll keep it real. I'm gonna take and give him a solid, generous C-. You're lucky I don't give him an F. C-, that's where I got him at.
At C- or an F. That's rough. I actually like what they did. I think you're 100% right. I think Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ will be out of there. And Rashard Higgins last year showed some flashes. I think he could definitely step in behind Jarvis Landry and be a very good number 2 receiver with the opportunity. So I think that would be good. Malik Jackson, I love. He's a dog. He used to be a Bronco on that Super Bowl team we had. John Johnson was a phenomenal signing for the amount of money he got signed at. He was arguably the best free safety to hit the market. A few safeties were tagged and stuff like that, or transition tags, etc. But for them to get him for $11 million a year, essentially, when the Broncos re-signed Justin Simmons for $15.25 a year, you know what I'm saying? And again, Justin Simmons is a better safety, but $4 million difference. I thought that was a good signing. And you saw their game against the Steelers. They came out explosive, high energy. Their defense is solid. Having Malik Jackson in the middle to give Myles Garrett more. I would have liked for them. I agree. I would have liked to see them maybe get one more receiver, but they can draft somebody. This is a deep receiver draft. And one more edge rusher. There's no such thing as too many edge rushers, receivers, or corners, right? So I think if they would have got one more edge rusher, Takaris McKinley's cool, but like you said, he hasn't had an outstanding career. So I would like them to see maybe get somebody a little more impact. But I'd give them a solid B, man, for sure. Because Troy Hill, John Johnson, and I really like, I don't know why, I really like Rashard Higgins. I just saw some of his games, man. He was making plays. So I think him giving a few more opportunities could be a real sleeper for them.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Before I go into that, I just want to say thank you for the Kirk Cousins slander. That I'm always here for that, and that warms my heart.
Yes.
Kirk, I still hate you. You suck. All right, you trash. But that's neither here nor there. Going back to the Browns, they're one of those teams that I think is really on the rise. A lot of young talent. They finally have that quarterback. I would have probably liked to see them do maybe a little bit more, but that's maybe me just splitting hairs. Because I mean, they have a solid team. So, like you mentioned, I do not see OBJ being there too much longer. But Rashard Higgins is somebody I kind of see the same way that I used to see like Kenny Galladay. Just kind of as the seasons go, he just becomes a beast, and then you're just like, yo, who is this guy that's just a monster? You know what I mean? So I like him. I really think they're building something within that division and within the AFC at large. They could have beat the Chiefs, but they didn't because they just didn't know how to do it. So we'll see how they gel, but that's a team that I think is on the rise. So I'll give them a C+. You're passing, you get your degree,
I love it. Next team and final team for the AFC North is going to take and be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very controversial Pittsburgh Steelers. If it's not one of their receivers kicking a drunk man in the head, if it's not, Ben Roethlisberger, choking again in the playoffs, if it's, not Juju Smith, I can't even say his name right. It don't matter. If it's not him taking dance on people's logos, it's, I don't know, man. I look at this and I'm just like, man, I think they should let Juju Smith-Schuster walk. They signed him to a 1-year deal worth $8 million. I do like that because the dude is a beast. Even though I think he had like 900 yards or something like that. The dude is a playmaker. He does get a good amount of touchdowns. I definitely like the signing of Zach Banner. Got him for a 2-year deal and whatnot. And then, of course, they got Rashad Coward. That's his actual name. He came over from the Bears or whatever. And then they got O-lineman BJ Finney, Joe Hagg, and then of course they just got another 2D lineman, Chris Wormley. I know that name. That guy's a beast. And then of course they got Tyson Halolo. I don't know if I said that right. and a cornerback, a safety, and Jordan Berry. So I mean, it's just a few depth signings here. Nothing spicy. What's crazy is that they have the type of defense that could take you to a Super Bowl, that could contend for the Super Bowl, possibly win you a Super Bowl. I don't see a whole lot of stuff happening on offense. I would like them to take and get, possibly another receiver, possibly. They fell apart, man. They look boring. I feel like, obviously they struggle with culture there. I feel like, Mike Tomlin is as great of a coach, future Hall of Famer. He just kind of will sign anybody in hopes he could change them. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like the pretty girl, the pretty good girl who keeps dating jerks. You know what I mean? And hopes she could change them, and she can't. And she gets mad when she don't like the results. It's the same thing with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. So I don't see a whole lot of things that really pop out to me, but they were able to maintain a lot of their talent. Overall, I'm going to take and give them a B- solely on the fact that they got 4 O linemen and Big Ben Roethlisberger. That dude will fall apart really quick on you. You want to make sure you want to protect it from injury. So I'll give them a B-.
I think they're old, man. Like that team, it's an old team. Ben Roethlisberger's old. He needs more weapons. He needed some for like Juju re-signing for that little of money, I think was a coup for the Steelers. But Juju also is betting on himself that, when the cap goes up next year, he'll get more money from somebody different or even the Steelers. But that was a value signing for one of their own guys that knows the system, et cetera. But other than that, like they just signed a bunch of guys that are meh. And like I think they're third best in that division now. They got, the Ravens, the Browns are clearly the top 2 teams in that division. The Steelers had an opportunity to maybe get a little bit better, I think, in a few places, especially at receiver. They lost James Conner. They didn't even have a replacement running back. They don't have a number 1 running back. I don't even think they have a couple guys that, that you could say, hey, this is a good thunder and flash kind of thing or thunder and lightning kind of tandem. Like they need help at running back. Their line's old. And Roethlisberger's old. They have Juju Smith-Schuster. I'd give them a D. I don't think they did much besides resign Juju that was noteworthy.
Love it.
Yeah, and speaking of which, shout out to Juju Smith-Schuster for having the most randomly Jewish name for no reason. I'm doing, and I respect it. Shout out. But no, like you said, Mike, I think that's, he definitely bet on himself because he, barring injuries, should make a lot more money next offseason. I kind of like their offense. Granted, they are old, but I like the weapons they have. So getting Schuster back, supplementing with James Washington, Chase Claypool, who really just tore up the scene last year, and getting 4 O linemen to protect Big Ben, that's good because, he's pushing 40 and he's not mobile at all. But like you said, there's other teams in that division that have gotten clearly better. And it just kind of feels like the Steelers, I don't want to say they're in a standstill. They won, 12 games last year. So, they don't suck, but I don't see them repeating that performance, barring injury from someone else in the division. You know what I mean? So we'll see, we'll see what Ben still has in the tank, but I don't really think they move the needle in the AFC the way they used to. So.
Absolutely.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movement.